Hey, Mai Tai. Yeah, why don't you come over, dude? I got Call of Duty. I got the full entertainment system set up, new speakers, new TV. Yeah, it's so sick. The colors are just awesome. Oh, hey, you know what? Let me go. I'll see you in a few minutes. Pizza guy just came. All right, later. Thanks, man. Oh yeah, it's pizza time. What the? What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. We've recently been hitting so many different recipes from Greg Doucette and Remington James that I think it's time to move on. It's time to venture off into uncharted territories, discover some new flavors, and it's time to find new anabolic levels. Risks are high, but the rewards are
all kinds of gains. All kinds.
Flexible dieting lifestyle, here we come. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Today we're taking on, you guessed it, FDL's Domino pizza recipe in his cookbook. So many good memories with Domino's. Nothing says Domino's more than beers and hanging out with the boys until the early morning hours. Am I right, Cupcake? I do. That was a good night. All right, you guys ready to level up? Let's do this. So this recipe actually doesn't require any yeast, so hopefully the whole process of actually making the dough will be a lot easier. Guys, before you begin, obviously you're gonna need a scale and a bowl. First up, in terms of ingredients, you're gonna need 45 grams of an all-purpose flour. Next up, you're gonna need 8 grams of coconut flour, cause you know what it is, guys. Always island time. Then you're gonna need 3 grams of baking powder. All right, guys, final ingredient, we're gonna throw in 3 grams of garlic powder. All right, guys, so now that we've got all the dry ingredients in, we're gonna wanna make sure that we mix all the ingredients together just so that there's no clumping. The recipe recommends that you mix everything all together before we start dumping in all of the wet ingredients. So in terms of wet ingredients, we're starting off with 100 grams of plain non-fat Greek yogurt. Next up, we've got 50 grams of pure egg whites. All right, guys, this is interesting. We don't have any yeast here, and the dough definitely does not look like it's gonna rise. So apparently the next set of instructions is we're gonna take this, throw it onto a baking pan, and spread it out just like a pizza crust. Try my best to get this into a circle. All right, guys, so some things to keep in mind. The dough is definitely super wet, so it's very questionable to see how this is gonna actually cook in the oven. The recipe is for 1 personal size pizza, and by the shape of this, you can tell it definitely is. But right now I've got the oven preheating at 450, so we'll go ahead and toss this in. We'll bake this for 6 to 8 minutes. I'm supposed to have parchment paper, but I don't have parchment paper, so we'll see how it does with the nonstick spray, and then we'll take it out once it's done cooking, throw some ingredients on there, and then pop it back into the oven at 450 for 3 to 5 minutes and let it cook. All right, guys, so that's what it's looking like. 6 minutes in. I'm gonna probably give it maybe another minute. Then take it out, we'll throw the toppings on, and then back into the oven. All right, guys, so we just pulled the dough right out of the oven. This is actually looking really nice. So now that we just pulled the pizza dough right out of the oven, the next step is to take 60 grams of a pizza sauce. Guys, I want you guys to notice that I tried putting a little divot in here just so it's gonna hold all of the ingredients. So if you guys try and make this, make sure that the dough has a little bit of a crust and it's thicker on the outside than it is on the inside. I think that's looking pretty good. All right, next up, you've got 28 grams of a light or reduced fat mozzarella cheese. So the FDL Domino pizza recipe ends right here. These are the main ingredients that are listed in the recipe, but we wanna take the anabolic gains up another notch. So I'm gonna go ahead and add 1 serving of turkey pepperoni. This is only just gonna be a few additional calories, but it also gives us a little added protein. This is what the pizza's looking like. We're gonna throw this back into the oven, still at 450 for 3 to 5 minutes. Make sure to watch it. I'm probably gonna put it in there for 3 minutes, take a look at it, and then decide whether or not we need to leave it in or just take it right back out. Pizza is done, straight out of the oven. It is smoking hot. As you can tell, we've got our very own personal size pizza. Guys, honestly, I was totally doubting how this was gonna turn out, especially when we were looking at the dough earlier. But without further ado, let's get into the 3 categories. You know the deal, anabolics, taste, and is this gonna satisfy your craving? So for a personal size pizza like this, you're looking at a total calorie breakdown of 404 calories with 8 grams of fat, 49 grams of carbs, and 34 grams of protein. Now, keep in mind that the original FDL recipe actually only called for the dough, marinara sauce, and then the cheese. So I added on the turkey pepperoni, which equated to essentially half a serving, and added the additional 4 grams of protein. For those of you who are looking to make this or try and replicate this, just make sure that you guys have a good base of higher level dough in comparison to the center. But in terms of anabolics, we're looking at 34 grams of protein for this pizza right here. But this is a mighty one. I mean, I'm looking forward to trying it, but from an anabolic standpoint, with 34 grams of protein, this definitely packs a punch. And what I love about this is that the protein is diverse. It's in the cheese, it's in the Greek yogurt that's in here, and then also, obviously, a couple of pepperoni pieces. So, spreading the love in terms of protein. Now, when we compare this pizza to, let's say, for example, a Pizza Hut personal pan pizza, there's definitely quite a difference in terms of overall calories and also the macro breakdown. But when we look at the total amount of protein, Pizza Hut personal pan pizza packs in roughly about 26 grams of protein. So 26 grams versus your 34 grams of protein, it's not too far off. So from an anabolic standpoint, we're gonna go ahead and give this 8.5. And next up, we've got taste.
Now to take a test drive!
Most of the time, I always try and have some type of comparison for these recipes to go against. So that way it gives us a little bit more of a holistic picture in terms of flavor, overall texture, consistency, and the whole gamut of expectations behind time spent making these recipes. So what do we have? We've got Domino's. On the left, we've got a Domino's pepperoni pizza, and then on the right, we've got the FDL Domino's pizza version. Now, let's see how these two pair up. So take a look at this little personal pan pizza. I just cut a quarter. It's looking pretty good. How's that flop looking? Pretty decent. I wonder what the Prez would say. All right, so that flop's not too bad, but let's go ahead and do our very first taste test. Cheers. Banger of a recipe. Holy smoke. Definitely impressed, guys. Definitely impressed. Okay, let's go ahead and try the Domino's pizza. There's the Domino's pizza. How's that flop? Oh yeah. Tell we've got Domino's because you got the cornmeal on the bottom. Let's go in for a dive. I'm beyond impressed. I've never made a dough that involved Greek yogurt or actually any dough without having to add some type of yeast to it. I mean, I don't know what to say. It tastes beyond a 10. This is an absolutely great recipe. Where do I start? Let's start with the dough. The dough, obviously, in the very beginning, I was very skeptical about how it was gonna form and, you know, just how it was gonna come out in general, right? It was just so wet.
That's what she said.
But dough itself, in comparison to the actual Domino's pizza, does an absolutely great job. And I'm comparing this also to the previous deep dish pizza recipe that I made for Remington James. That was a complete, you know, in comparison to this, it's difficult to say because it's a deep dish pizza, but this in general, I would definitely 100 times recommend this particular pizza recipe over the deep dish one. You know, this is actually a really great like date idea. You guys, you know, if anybody's going on a date or something and trying to cook up some stuff, definitely try this recipe out. You're staying healthy, saving your macros, and you're getting a decent amount of protein in this one personal pan pizza. Yeah, I mean, all the flavors, there's nothing too overpowering. Everything just blends in very nicely. Thoroughly impressed. Bam! In terms of craving, this recipe absolutely hits a 10. I 100% will continue to recommend this recipe to anyone and everyone looking to make a personal pan pizza for themselves, or, you know, you want to impress somebody, throw this recipe down. Let the girl or guy be impressed with your culinary creations. This closes out FDL's Domino's personal pan pizza, and total score is a whopping 9.5. And to be honest, guys, this recipe is one of my favorites that I've tried so far. And there's probably only just a handful that I've really absolutely loved, but this one has definitely made books. So guys, try this recipe out. Let me know in the comments below what you guys did to switch things up in terms of toppings, ingredients, make this pizza your very own. But I will say a huge shout out to FDL for this amazing recipe, one that I'm sure many of us will continue to take with us throughout our fitness journey. But otherwise, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up this video here. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and got a ton of pizza goodness out of it. If you were stoked to hear good things about FDL's Domino personal pan pizza recipe, give this video a big fat thumbs up to let me know that you enjoyed it. So with that being said, I appreciate the continued love and support, and see you guys next time. Peace.